What's good, my guys? My name is Mauro Jaurena. I'm a graphic designer and digital artist from Buenos Aires, Argentina. You may also know me by my Instagram with Design Syndrome. This video will be some highlights of a stream I did maybe 2 weeks ago in which I answered some of your questions that you have for me. So yeah, that's it, my guys. Please subscribe to the channel because I'm gonna start posting some tutorials and more graphic design content, so you don't want to miss any of those. So click the notify bell or whatever YouTuber things do. So yeah, my guys, hope you like the content and... Okay. Can you hear me all right and everything? Perfect. Yeah, I think, at this stage, like, we all are creating content, like, whatever you want to categorize yourself, it doesn't really matter. Like, we are in an age, like, some labels are being questioned to at a less or more degree of utility, let's say, but within the degree of, like, if you're a content creator or artist or a graphic designer, like, whatever box you want to put yourself in that regard, it isn't really like constructive, like, because if I say yes, like, yeah, I'm making content, but if I could also have say no and it wouldn't have like an impact, like, but yeah, I consider myself like I am creating content. Like, it's like a thing that I get up in the morning and I think what I'm gonna do today, or I try to plan the week. I'll do this reel this day, this reel the other day, or what image will I make, what posts will I make in the day, what asset packs I'm gonna release in the upcoming month, or the ones that I like to use. So yeah, quick question, yeah, complex quick answer, yeah, complex answer is it doesn't really like matter. You just do what you want to do and like plan ahead from it. Let's say, yeah, I'm using Google Calendar and I use Notion to sort of like plan out what I'm gonna do. I don't go like really crazy about it. Like, just now I started like Mondays to take them like really lightly and go into calendar and type, like, for example, this Friday I'll do like a funny little reel, like quick to do, so I can focus on more like mechanized work. Like, if I'm making an asset pack that needs a lot of scanning and a lot of like repetition in a task that's not really creative, like, I'll do that, and some fun reel that's quick and easy to do. Another day I'm planning ahead and I'll do a tutorial, then I need to like write the script for it, a little script, because I found out that if I try to do it like on the fly, it will depend a lot. Like, I can knock a really easy tutorial, like do it in let's say 20 minutes, and then I try to tackle a more complex one. I do it in the fly, and I end up losing triple the time that I would have lost it if I just like make a script for it, right? Make a script. Then if I'm going to do a voiceover, or if I'm I'm feeling lazy, then I'll do the subtitles, right? Now I'm doing the subtitles on English and Spanish to make it more inclusive, really, but not inclusive for the sake of inclusivity alone, just because like more half the work asks speak Spanish, really, like you're leaving half the people out. Yeah, you are creating content or something. That content may be created for the sake of someone watching it and having him or her to buy something, or just to express yourself. You're making content. It's the name of the game, right? But it doesn't really matter. You're making whatever makes you happy to make, and you post it, hopefully. Yeah, another thing that's been really helpful to me, like, was to get into, well, this is like a work in progress from a long time now, but it's like the routine. I think for the artist or designer or whatever it is, it's a super important part to do a steady, consistent like body of work that starts to build up, right? Because sometimes, like, maybe with a perfectionist mindset, you start to like make really little work, but you cheat yourself and you think, oh, I'm doing it just if it's perfect, or if it meets some bullshit standard that you set for yourself. That's really a reflection of the insecurity we all have to be judged online specifically. So like making a routine, that's why it's so popular, like the 365, like every day make a poster. You become really detached of the work, and you can start to do some cool shit, right? There was a study that was done, that this is like a saying now, that they made a study, who the fucks know, but it's a cool like little story, let's say, that they have a bunch of students in Japan. They had two groups, and to one group they said, take one photography every day, one photo every day, and then come back at the end of the semester, whatever it was, and show it to us. And to the other group they said, make one photo that has to be perfect and bring it by the end of the semester, right? And you could guess which group had the best photos, right? Because quantity has a quality unto itself, right? And more enough if you have like this critical thinking, or you try to like critically look at what you do and try to pick it apart and whatever, then you'll find whatever's lacking in in your shit, I think. Yeah, but for artists, I think it's like really hard because we are really attached, or we think like the persona of the artist is like this being that's really attached to the thing that he makes. He's really sensitive, which can be true, but I think like in this day and age we are really exposed, so it's cool to keep something for yourself, if that makes sense, like not just putting the things out there and seeing them as things that are not yours anymore. Does that make sense? Like you post something and whatever people think, they'll think, and if they like it, they like it, and if they know, they can go fuck themselves, right? Because the other thing, like we think of the criticism sometimes, like motherfuckers will come and criticize us and it will hurt, but also some people will come and say that we are the greatest designer, whatever, and we'll feel really happy that they like our what we do, right? Because it's our art. But as you can get really sad because someone tells you that your art is shit, then over time you can become cocky and egotistical and narcissist in a bunch of other ways if you start to take to heart what the good that people tell you also. So it's like a balance, like it serves two purposes, like to detach from the work, like to don't get depressed, and also to don't become in a fucking egotistical artist. I don't know. I mean, at least that's what I think. Everything I say, add like a suffix at the end. That's for me, because what the fuck do I know, right? I'm just another talking head on the internet with a microphone, like podcast style. You know what I'm saying? Joe Rogan style. Shout out to my boy. Okay, Rensakio was asking what are the skills, things needed to become a graphic designer. It's a really like complicated question, I think. Well, like every question, but it's not like the typical you need to draw. Like you need to have like a very specific kind of like logical thinking, let's say, that you can train it through the process of designing and solving the problems, which for a graphic designer are graphic problems, right? I think we tend to think like the graphic designer is sort of this artist, which I think it's not. Like there is artistry involved, but I think it's a more like logical approach that the designer has to take to then bring the art and make it fit within that puzzle. So it's not like, oh, you have to be a great painter or a great illustrator or great with whatever the artistic endeavor is. Like it's not at all like that. Like there is a degree of that which you're gonna need to ascend the ladder, right? Like the workforce ladder. But there is a point in which you become such a great at the problem solving that when you become, for example, an art director, you're not touching a pencil anymore. You're just calling the shots and telling and discussing the ideas, and in the end, that's what makes like a good project. I think have a solid like concept that really gets to the bone of whatever the problem is that needs solving. Like the classic example that we get in design school, it's like the design of the signal in the metro of New York. Like that's like a classic example of beautiful clean design that solves the problem that people had, that it needs to be clear and it needs to be like functional, right? So yeah, then you have like the old like every other thing that a brand or the things that need to communicate a certain feeling through an image that has to be intentional, right? It can't be just whatever. For when you're an artist, you can make whatever you feel, and you don't need to feel like you make the piece because it makes you feel, because what you're feeling is coming out. You are not thinking. I think like when you introduce the thinking and you start to okay, I want to make the others feel when I'm feeling, then it starts to become more about a design thing, right? Because I don't know, you can go to a museum and look like the Guernica of Picasso, and sometimes you can feel like this visceral thing, the horror of the war and whatever. But for me, it was like this painting is like sorry, not for me, because I didn't saw it, because I had a teacher that told me that when he saw it, he like became like really, painting was like falling on him, right? It gave him another feeling. It wasn't not fear, but it was awe, because he's an artist and he knows how difficult it is to compose that thing, so it will vary, right? How do I come up with such creative designs? I don't think my designs are that creative. Like, let's just be completely honest about it. Like, I'm not trying to push the envelope in what it's graphic design. Like, I approach what I do with, I have a certain message that I want to say, and I try to just say it. Like, you'll see me in my posters, it actually says what I wanted to say, right? It says object petit a, desire. It's really clear what I'm trying to say, and I try to make a really basic like play of design with some cool composition, cool texture. It's a cool piece to look at, right? But I'm not out here like trying to redefine design. I'm trying to put out a body of work that when you see it, you see all that I've done, and you see like a picture, like a bigger picture. Like that's the approach, because I know I've realized that I am not that crazy top 1% artist that there are motherfuckers out there that are really like crazy about what they do, right? And I'm not that. I'm more of a consistent volume maker of pieces, right? I'll make a bunch of pieces and go over time, you know? That's another thing, like it's cool. You don't have to surrender to the idea that you have to be like this crazy. Every poster you make has to be like this boundary, genre defining, whatever. You just make and post and repeat, and you'll get better over time. Like it's literally how it's done. It will vary from person to person, but for the most, I think it is kind of like that, you know? You find your own process, but you find it through making a lot of shit. Yeah. Well, it comes to a more complex issue, which is like this perfectionism. Like it comes back from school, you know? You were going to school and you had all these systems that were telling you need to get an A, you need to make the test and get a 10, and then that gets uploaded into your software, you know? and out you are in the world with that in your head, and it's really hard to get it out, because when you actually see how people are making money and living, which is the goal of, I don't want to get too deep, but the goal of living is to live, you know? And like for the sake of achieving like ultimate perfection, you'll sacrifice everything, right? You maybe get to be the best designer, but for some people you lose yourself, right? You try to do the things that you feel attracted to, and you make them with intensity, right? And that will transpire into you becoming the best you. Maybe not the best designer or the best whatever, but maybe, I don't know, maybe the best you is a really cool designer, but it's also a really cool brother, a so-so lover. Maybe you train, you like an athletic performance. Like people that are the top of the top of the top in one thing, usually their lives fall apart. Tyson, Muhammad Ali, Tiger Woods, Maradona. All of these examples are really not examples. They are gods, and it's cool that we idolize them. But as examples, I think it's not a feasible life path to go. Like the ones that will go through that path, they don't even have to think about it. I think like Lionel Messi or the dudes that are really top percent, they don't make this rationalization. They just go because it's in their DNA, right? I think it's like that. I don't know. It kind of makes sense to approach it like that, I think. But I'm also not saying like do whatever and half-ass everything. Like pick the things you want and do them intensely and do them like consciously, you know? If you cook and try to be a good cook, right? If you like to cook and you like food, try to be a good cook. Don't just order outside and say you like food. No, you like the sugar, you like the dopamine rush you get from food. You don't like food, you're like an addict, right? There is a really cool book. I don't remember the author. It's from Andrew Huberman podcast. This dude was talking about addiction and how we are fucking addicted to food, like seed oils and the things that are within the food that we eat today. Like they shouldn't supposed to be there. And it's like we say things like, oh, but it's once a time, right? We had a hamburger, but it shouldn't be even that. I'm just trying to introduce a concept. Of course, I eat burgers and eat fast food and whatever, right? It's just I try to make it like more of a habit to not to, but because it ties also to the design thing and the work thing, right? You need to get a routine together, man. It's the easiest way, I think. Yeah, I think a routine is the best way, but it's really come down to like, this is like for me and what I've learned and applied on myself, right? And kind of working, because I'm fighting it with every day. It's not like for example, I try to get up early in the morning, right? Like I'm aiming to 7:30, 8 in the morning, and this week I didn't hit a day. Like every day was 9 p.m, 9:30 p.m, right? But I'll hit months in which I get up like 20 days, like 8 p.m, 7:30 p.m. It's like a wave. You can't do everything at the same time. You can't have like the perfect sleeping schedule, the perfect content creation schedule, and eating clean. Like it will. And also the training, like that's also a thing, my guys. Like you can't go to sleep like early and you're getting up late. Maybe you're not training enough. Like your body has energy within it that it's not releasing like its pressure, right? So of course you're fucking building up stress, and you can't let go, right? For me, it happened like I started doing acrobatics training, like capoeira and some soft acrobatics, right? Because, you know, I'm identifying myself as a fucking ninja. So that's where we are right now. And that also coming back to the holistic thinking about like, yeah, like what you do, right? I realized that I was training like a fucking power lifter, right? I think most people do. Like, it's not also the fault, it's like it's what is pushed, it's what is known now, is being like a second renaissance of like spirituality, yoga, all that kind of thing. That's beautiful, and it serves the way we live now a bit better, I think. Like, because I'm like here every day, my guy, like here I'm here every day. And then we go to the gym and start no stretching, nothing. You like, I don't think it works in the long run. I think I already have a lot of problems that I started doing acrobatics because I can't stretch really my back. I'm at a terrible disadvantage with the other practitioners, but I try to get there, right? Because it's all in the favor of trying to release that stress that's going to serve me in the purpose of having like a more comfortable like routine, sleeping better, right? Like, if I had to give you like one advice, is like, get your sleep together first. Like, sleep is like the key. I think it's the most important to like regularize, like, I would say, like your emotional like pattern, right? That's the key. Oh, I'm gonna share with you, like, search for this guy, Andrew Huberman Lab podcast. Like, get on that and listen to his episodes about sleep. He's like a neuroscientist, or I don't remember his credentials right now, but he's real shit, and he talks like in depth, you know, like 3 hours podcast talking about sleep or food or training or whatever, and it lets go some really gold nuggets about actual protocols that you can take, right? It's not like he talks like ethereally about a bullshit topic and then you're left hanging, like, figure it out. Like, no, he'll say, for most people, this is what you have to do. And then from there is a degree of experimentation, but from there it goes, right? Because like, I found that the things that I do outside design, right, the things that I do outside this space, which is the computer, actually have more of an impact when I'm working, right? Because what you eat, even the content that you consume, like, I've become like a fucking degenerate on TikTok, on Instagram. I'm watching like whatever reel, like funny acid reel that doesn't even make any sense, and then I'll watch like a political subject, and I get like really, you know, like mad or whatever, and I'm thinking, what the fuck am I doing? And I can't sleep sometimes, and it's not perfect, but it's the direction that you try to push, right? Hey, if you like the video so far, please don't forget to subscribe and click the notify button so you don't miss any of the new videos. Don't tyrannize yourself, like, work with yourself, but don't give you a pass every time you become self-indulgent. I think, you know, when you can give your all. There is a really cool phrase, I don't know if from Peterson or whatever, that some days you give 30%, but if 30% is all you got, then it's good. You know what I mean? Like, there are days that you're feeling lazy, and you know when you're feeling lazy, and you know when you're really like, this is all I got. Usually you can feel it, I think. So that's cool, you know, when you think, you know, you're being lazy, and you think, I'll sit down in front of that monitor and I'll do whatever for the next 2 hours. If something comes up, it will, and if it don't, then it didn't. So, but yeah, it's not tyrannizing yourself, really, being honest. But for that, you have to know yourself, and to know yourself, you have to push. Music time. Creative block, I don't know. I don't remember having a time where I think I've had like, I don't know what to do. Usually I'll make a video about that, because I think I'm good at that. Like, when I have nothing to do, I don't know what to do, I just pick an image and throw it in Photoshop. There is this thing that we do in university that's called esquisio. I don't know what is translated, but it's an exercise that you actually just throw anything at the paper and start from there, right? Like, maybe, I don't know, I want to do a poster, I'm not getting an idea, I'll just type the word, I don't know, like evocative word, like something like chaos or beauty or something like that. You just type that word and start to go from there, like build from there, right? Type any image, grab any image, put an eye. You'll see in my posters a lot of eyes, a lot of faces, because those are images that really like make something happen, right? Or cover a large space of the canvas with the texture or with text, or use some of I use the asset packs that I made. I use them to really kickstart things. I'm also gonna make a video about using correctly the asset packs, like the icon packs and all of that. The asset pack they're using it, and it's eating their work, right? The work becomes like a asset showcase. It doesn't become like a poster or whatever. It's just things thrown inside and it doesn't work. To that I would claim like it's fault of the way assets are, I don't want to say like sold, because it's also a responsibility of the one using them, right? So maybe in the process of going like sort of viral, like some people don't have like the matching skill in design to actually use them properly, right? I usually make the design and then use the assets, like, you know, like you add depth, like you sprinkle some on top, but the poster needs to work before the assets, right? They don't need to work because of the assets. Graphic design. Okay, my father had like a computer in our house, and he was doing small graphic design gigs, personal cards, whatever. He was really working in fashion. So I started playing with the computer and bullshitting around with CorelDRAW. At the time was the software, and Photoshop also, and just fucking around with it. I was really interested like in music. I remember my first like CD with a band that I loved was Linkin Park, like Reanimation. Like if you know that art that has this thing about like anime, and it was like a robot, and that really hooked me like into the artistic thing. And then of course I grew up and I think, oh, I must study graphic design, because graphic design is drawing, which is not. Graphic design is not drawing. Drawing helps, it can help because of the brain that develops while drawing. I think you get to really like think abstractly, which helps, but the abstract thinking is what helps, not the drawing itself. With also that also helps, but I don't think that to a degree like the abstract thinking that drawing does. I did well on art during school, and I went to the University of Buenos Aires, which is one of the top design schools, which is free, which is public school, one of the best in Latin America for graphic design. And I dropped out at the beginning of the second year. Amazing teachers, was a really good place to learn design. They taught me basically to teach myself, which is it's like the skill to learn is like, I can tell you like do this effect, do whatever, but the really key skill that you can learn is to teach yourself shit. Yeah, like you have something that you want to learn and you fucking figure it out, right? That's cool. And that comes a lot from this kind of approach that we had to learning. We didn't design with computers, like we use paper and scraps of letters. And I have something coming up on that you'll love. Like I'm thinking on doing some real shit. I don't want to give it up because some motherfucker will probably do it before, which I don't think they can because they don't have the teaching method that I had. So that, yeah, that'd be crazy. I really want to like help motherfuckers that really don't have a clue what to do or what design is. I can't teach you to be the fucking best because I'm not, but I can teach you like the basics in a way that's gonna stick, I think. So that's what I wanna do. Favorite pack I've made? I think paper cut. Like the textures I use literally every day. Textures and the vector icon pack I think are my best packs. They just work. He's saying if I prefer sell assets or providing graphic design services. I think that one thing that I would say to everyone, like if you have a really as a part of your process that's really narrow it down and you can like assetize it, like make it a template and whatever, it's fine to do that, I think, because maybe you make some textures that are for your works, like you don't lose anything for offering them. Maybe as a free resource, because free resources bring a lot of traffic. So that's really cool. But think about this, like you're trying to go viral on Instagram, right? And most of the people that are gonna see your page are other artists, right? So what is that? Like 80%, let's say 70% of the people that you are exposed in social media can't even spend a penny on you, right? So it's not an effective way to monetize, I think. So what I would say is sell something, print tote bags, a t-shirt with your face on it, whatever. It doesn't have to, you don't have to live of it. But because coming back to the thing that I said before, I'm not that creative mastermind, right? So making assets is a cool way to get things off my chest and make a living out of it. And I do design work out of it, not as much. Cool thing is that sort of like close down on a niche style, and then when people come to me for work, they say do this thing that you do on Instagram. They're not like, we need a logo, we need it to be like Starbucks logo, like what the fuck, you know? They just, you have a style, and that's more of an artist thing, I think, but it's designed to be that way, right? So yeah, maybe you have some textures that you did for yourself, offer them for free, or make 30 more like that and sell a pack. Maybe it's $5, it doesn't matter. You get a video to do 100,000 views or whatever, and 10% of them buy your asset pack. That's cheap and it work for you. It's a cool incentive to have another cash flow, right? maybe don't go full into making assets, but make something that you can sell and will allow you to monetize like the bigger part of your audience, that will be other designers and other artists and other content creators, right? Yeah, that's good, because it will make something that takes the pressure out of your shoulders, the weight out of your shoulders. That it was killing me. For me, it was like every month you need to make a certain amount of money. That's why it's cool to make like a safety net, right? Save, I don't know, they say like 2-3 years of salary. I think that's too much, but I don't know, at least 6 months to a year, like live below your means till you are within the ballpark, and then fucking ball out by chains. Nah, I'm joking, but you know what I mean. Yeah, I mean, what you're making is really cool. Like start YouTube. Like what I'm doing now is also a way to make content that's more long-lived, right? Because, for example, blogs or whatever, it's content that needs to be consumed within the week, then it becomes sold. Like if you do a podcast, you do something that's on a topic that lives longer, then the video will live longer online. I think YouTube tutorial on graphic design, that will live longer than a video on any news or whatever, right? Music time. Greatest inspiration as a designer? I don't really fan like a designer. I try to draw inspiration from a lot of places. I do a lot from movies or philosophy or things that I like, or even from science, from the things that I've been learning about sleep, about even meditation, like books, from like different things, aspects of life. Like the poster that I did this last week, like the decentralized wisdom one, it's about that thing, getting nuggets from different places, and then you make them like stitch in a way that it's only you can make them, because it's your style and it's your view on whatever the thing is. Oh, another thing that you said, that the dream, for example, don't dream about work, right? Like don't dream about labor. You try to picture a life you want to live, and you take the steps like to live it. Like how does it look? Like not just work wise. Work is important, right? Like money wise, like you're saving, you're making the investments in other places, or how you're handling your money, you're overspending, are your relationships also, like that's also like a trip, like because you get too laser focused on work, and you can end up alone, you know. And also your body, like so important. Like what's the point of being successful between a lot of like quotas, and then you don't have health to actually enjoy it? Like, and I don't mean health like physical health, like you're dopamine depleted most of the time because of social media. So it's like a big web of things that are cool to handle, right? Because I don't know, I don't want to get too preachy. Like I talk about the things that I like and I think they work for me, but I get that for some people it may be like, what the fuck do you know? And it's right, what the fuck do you know? What's the furthest goal I'm trying to achieve the most? And I'm already there. Like I've dreamed about the lifestyle, right? That having time for me, being comfortable, like being able to save a little bit, be living comfortably. Like living in Argentina, it's also a big part of it. Like I couldn't live how I live in New York, let's say, right? You have to become like a fucking money grinder, which I don't like also. I want to live comfortably and have time for myself and for my girlfriend and my dog, and when a new game comes out, I can just buy it and play it, right? I really love playing video games, and I love to, like right now I find out that I can't do anymore the just stay up all night gaming. So what I do now, I get up early, really early on the weekends, and 7 p.m. That's crazy, because for the weekends I really can't get up early because I know I'm gonna play, right? So I make a big jug of mate, and which is like coffee, but I would highly recommend you to also drink mate, because it's better than coffee, like for your brain, and it's a lot healthier, and I think it's much better than coffee, because coffee you have a cup and then you're done, and gives you like this big like rush of energy, and mate is like something that you keep sipping, and it's a much steady flow, and you'll go to the bathroom like a motherfucker, like you just get, you know. So that's my graphic design tip. Well, the furthest goal is the lifestyle. I have a work designed in a way that it fits the way you want to live, and not to live for work, right? So, but that takes into account that you have to be smart about how you work and how do you manage that, right? So you don't just live like to work, right? And also some of the things, I think we feel like so overwhelmed about the work that we are doing, and it's maybe it's not that much about the work, but all the imbalances that we are in because of social media. We eating crap, drinking a lot, maybe smoking. Some people, I don't want to really get into that because I don't know enough, but I have a lot of people that are smoking really regularly and are having panic attacks, and really like most of them, right? So it's a thing to take into account, I think. Like the lifestyle, maybe it's that what's giving you the anxiety, and not like these angst that seems like laser focused on the work that you're not getting or whatever it may be, right? So, okay guys, it was really fun. See you in the next one.